Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy, and we are standing here in beautiful downtown Ellicottville. Nice hotel back behind us. We are going off to a paper show. Only one tip I'd like to give to you before we head on out. Do a little bit of research before you book a hotel. So I was at the bottle show, which we showed you a nice haul video about back in April. And they had little flyers and handouts, and always make sure you pick these up. And I realized that there is a book and paper show and sale down in Mayville, New York at the Chautauqua Suites. 40-some dealers, hopefully some great video, hopefully some great hauls down here. Never did this before, so I said, let's give this a try. Now, I don't know very much about Chautauqua, New York, that area, but I do know kind of where it is, so I booked a hotel down in Ellicottville. 2.5-hour drive yesterday, came down here to the hotel. Come to find out, we have a 1-hour drive this morning to head on over to the sale. Oops, it's not the best planning on my part. That being said, I would much rather drive only an hour this morning than the 3 or so hours from home in the morning hours on roads that I don't know. So overall, it ended up working out pretty nicely. Had a nice dinner last night, and we're heading out to the show right now. Mrs. Papergoy is with me, which is tremendous news because she takes some great videos from the show, so you're going to have a lot better videos than when I'm running around doing like I'm chasing rabbits around the show. So it should be a lot of fun over here. Don't know any of these dealers probably. Don't know what kind of items there's going to be. I got my business cards with me. We'll get you some shots from inside the show, and we'll tell you whether it's worth going to or not next year. So we'll see you inside. And we did make it, and it was a bit of an adventure getting here. The highway was closed partially. There was a bridge out, so we ended up using GPS, which took us back roads. Ended up on some pretty hilly back roads with a lot of fog. That was a bit scary. Then we ended up stuck behind a horse and buggy. If you don't know some of the pleasures of driving back roads in upstate New York, that is one of them. Finally got over onto the highway, and first time I've ever in my life seen a bear crossing sign. Yeah, never seen one of those before, so I guess the bears are coming up here into New York State. So we had that as well. We're over here at the event center, so it should be kind of interesting, should be kind of fun. Figured out one of the reasons why the hotels were so expensive. There's the Chautauqua Institute down here, which is famous, and you'll find a lot of paperwork from it if you are from upstate New York. They did a lot of courses and things like that back from the 20s on through. That's going on, their event is. There's also over in Jamestown, New York, if you're looking for something to do, there is a comedy festival weekend, all with Lucille Ball, who is from that area. Well, she's not going to be there, obviously, but it's like a Lucille Ball sponsored themed type thing. And over at the casino in Salamanca, New York, the Beach Boys, plus all of the usual summer stuff that goes on up around New York State. We're right close to a beautiful lake. So there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so probably the fact we are an hour away is about as close as I could have gotten. We're going to go head on inside right now, and we will hopefully get some great buys in there and get a lot of great video for you. Having a fun time so far, other than that horse and buggy, because that was excruciating. See you inside. And here we are inside the show. Want to thank Mrs. Papergoy for some great video over here. Just kind of walked in. One thing I did notice, a lot of the dealers are a bit older than usual for these kind of shows. Maybe it's just because it was a paper show or something or other like that. But you had your admission right there. It was $5 admission. You walk in. Now, as you can see, it's not that large of a venue. They have some nice stuff set up over here. An author doing some signings and things like that. It looks like she's talking with people, so that's good. So definitely support your local authors at some point. And I hate to say this, but this is exactly what ends up happening, because you know she was there at the show. At some point, you'll find some of her signed books around at various venues. So that's a little insider tip. If you know that various authors were around, check out it. Things like the Goodwill and things like that, and you'll end up finding them at some point. But there were probably 30 dealers or so, I would guess, in this room. And prices were reasonably good overall. Of course, you had a few of the people that were the high-end dealers and all of that. We're going to take a quick little walk through. I actually bought quite a few things from that gentleman. He's out of the Buffalo area. I'd never met him before, but he had some pretty good stuff. And as you just kind of walk through here, you kind of see everything in here is paper. There were very few non-paper items over here. A lot of people had books, all that sort of thing. The other thing, too, that made this show kind of nice is I overheard people talking. Tables were $35, which is actually very, very reasonable. It was $35 for the first table. I think $25 for the table after that. And if you wanted more than 2 tables, the gentleman holding the show said, you just kind of talk to me over here and we'll work something or other out for you. So a few more shots here from inside the venue, just kind of giving you the overall idea of what there is. A lot of people there with books, all that sort of thing. So definitely if you're down in that area, definitely is a show worth checking out. It's the first Saturday in August, only a one-day show. Mrs. Papergoy got a little shy this time over here and didn't want to walk too close in there to all these various dealers, but she's kind of giving you the oversight. You kind of get an idea, you can see. Took about an hour to go through the entire show, and I was going at a pretty slow pace overall. Checked out every dealer and all that. So we're going to join me over in the hotel room now, and we're going to see what kind of great buys I ended up getting. And we are back at the hotel. Ended up spending $168. Going to probably not end up making money overall when you take into account the gas and the hotel. I ended up 2 nights at the hotel just because, again, I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to be driving at night or anything at all like that. That being said, I'm planning on coming back next year now that I've got a game plan and I kind of understand the situation. There also is a really big antique mall. A few hundred dealers over in Salamanca. I didn't have a chance to check that out today. Beach Boys concert had traffic all snarled down in that area, so I just headed back to the hotel to sort things out. But we're going to give you some nice things here for the haul. Definitely worth going to if you're anywhere near the area. And again, it's always the first week in August. Did pick up some comic books. Now, the condition on these is not the greatest. However, they are Golden Age comic books, so you got a Captain Marvel adventure. These are really neat. You don't see these around too often. They're DC Comics did a whole bunch of them over here with movies in it called feature films. And this is actually a second print, very, very early Classic Comics. If you notice, it does say Classic Comics. The ones that you generally see out there are Classics Illustrated. So anytime you see something that says Classic Comics, definitely worth picking up. Nice little comic book right there. Some of the other highlights we picked up over here. This I thought was really, really interesting. Rip Discovers Radio, and it's about Rip Van Winkle. But the reason I picked it up over here is it's a booklet from RCA. So it's kind of neat there, and people do collect the RCA things. I would think it's got to be probably about a $20 booklet, something other like that. My thoughts? Another very interesting thing, I had seen this over here, Manuel Ovanda and the Cuban Rumba Orchestra, and it's a table topper. That's what they call these. And these would have been placed up on the table of a bar or restaurant. And it's Jack Dempsey, which is pretty cool there. The famous boxer. He had a restaurant for many, many, many years over in New York City. So not too many of these could have existed or lasted all these different years. So you want to pick up things like this. Truly is ephemera on an item like that. And it's also got the Jack Dempsey thing over there. You'll see these over here. These are actually advertising bang guns is what they're called. And they're really, really neat. You'll see a lot of different ones. A lot of times they do have an advertising here on the side. This one does not. What you always want to check on these is you want to open them up. And this one is actually still intact. You very rarely find them intact. So that will definitely help. They go for anywhere from $15 to $20. Depending upon the advertising sometimes, and then of course the condition. So can't argue with that. Pick that up for like $1, something other like that. But you will see these out there, a lot of different versions with advertising on them. Another thing that I picked up that I thought was kind of interesting over here, the Easy Hair Removing Glove. And I picked that up over there because A, it's intact, and B, because of the nice Art Deco look on it. We've told you a million times, purchase things with the Art Deco. And that definitely has that on there. That definitely will sell. And again, probably $20, $25 on something like that, just because of the Art Deco side of it. Another neat thing over here that I picked up, National Guardsman. Now, normally I would not have picked this magazine up. I picked it up because it's March 1939 with the World's Fair. When you list this in the collectibles World's Fair category. You will make the sale. There are people out there that collect the World's Fair thing. So pick it up for $1 or so and you can definitely make some money on something or other like that. Something or other, it's only worth that $15 to $25. I paid $3 on it. 1975 Winter Special Scream, which is a magazine there talking about The Exorcist, etc. The reason I picked it up out there, Skywald is actually a publisher that had lower print runs and a little more in demand because they're harder to find than like Warren and those companies. So if you do see Skywald, definitely pick it up. I took a chance on it. Not going to get rich on it, but I'll make a few bucks on it. There you go, Psycho on the back there. Always talk about picking these up over here. Pick this up for a couple of bucks. Info about New York, 1939. So that's probably going to mention the World's Fair as well, I would think. Kate Smith, and so on. People like these. Always go through them. March is too early, but sometimes they'll have things about baseball and that in there as well. You definitely want to highlight that. Similarly, I picked this up over here, Rally Bicycles, with lots and lots of bicycle things in here. People love catalogs. You don't find that many, and that is a groovy looking outfit right there. I'm thinking I might be wearing that after retirement. Maybe I'll show up all the time in a show like that. That would be really, really cool. Picked this up over here, St. Nicholas. Not the hottest of all magazines, but I picked it up because of the flag theme on there, President's Day. So people who love the patriotic things. I did pay $5 to give me a little bit of a break on it. But again, the patriotic cover is what's going to end up selling that. So you always go for patriotic. Something or other I picked up for myself was a couple of Adventures of Big Boy books. So if you find those out there, reach out to me. I actually do collect those for myself. Shameless plug. Those are going into the collection. Picked up this over here. I did pay $15 for it. The guy had a pile of newspapers from around then. This was the only one that I bought. But the reason why is because it's right here, was it December 22nd, 1865, so right after the Civil War. But there was a little thing over here that I read, the Andersonville jailers to be tried by court-martial. And there's a little snippet of an article about that. Andersonville, of course, is a notorious prison during the Civil War. And that's where knowing history definitely pays off. People, historians, etc., read about the Andersonville thing, and this is right after it. So this will definitely right after the war. So this will definitely go. I'm going to market it with the Andersonville. I'm going to price it fairly high. I mean, I have to. I got $15 into it, but that's kind of a neat piece over there. This is not in the greatest of shape. I may break it up for ads. I don't know. I got to look at it a little bit more. Paid $3 for it, but 1948 billboard. Ads in these things are incredible to start with. Great cover right over there with the Daredevil drivers. Just a great little piece right over here. I got to figure out what to do with it. I just knew for $3 I couldn't go wrong with that. Picked up this little pile over here. All these different magazines from the teens and 20s, the Delineator, Ladies Home Journal, Woman's Home Companion. I ended up paying $25 for the stack. The guy had a bunch of others without covers, etc. I said, tell you what, I'll give you $50 for all of them. And he was happy to see them go. I'm breaking the other ones up into ads, but you'll see at a Whatnot auction coming soon. A little bit of work breaking up the ads, but pretty neat over here. This is kind of a scary item over here from the Eugenics Publishing Company for the Good of the Race. Catalog of outstanding works by foremost authorities. It is just an advertising thing from the Eugenics Company. Their items do sell, and this is going to be kind of a rare kind of item just as an advertising piece. Keep your eyes open. You never know what you might find out there as far as things like that go. This I thought was pretty neat over here. The official membership certificate for the Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah, there we go. Number 306,389. Collect them all. So a nice little thing there. And somebody did their math on the back. So that's a nice little piece. Just a few more things here and we'll be done. I was talking to one gentleman, and he asked what I wanted, what I collected, and I said anything that I think I can make money on. I am a reseller. He said, "Here, take a look at this," and he gave me a pile of look at those beautiful little dogs over there, Newfoundland dogs, which I didn't even know about what they are. He had 44 items all together for $20, a bunch of photos, some ribbons, and the like. Perfect thing to be bringing over to Whatnot. You'll be seeing these if you are into dogs. You definitely do want to check that out right there. Got some notes in the back, etc. So that was a time when actually explaining to the gentleman that I was a reseller ended up paying off. Just a few more items over here. Keep your eyes open for these. These are everybody's favorite. The backs on them are blank, which you want the blank backs. Now there are white and tan backs. If you want to get deep into the weeds on collecting these. There also are a different number of asterisks on the front. Sometimes you can get real deep into collecting them. But this tells you it's from the 1970s as opposed to the 1980s and newer reprints. Those have puzzle backs or things like that on the back. But these are your little wacky packs, Scary Lee, Mop and Glop Cleaner, and Drainola, and so on. I ended up paying about 40 cents a piece on them, which I thought was a pretty good deal on all of these over here. I do collect them. I don't know which ones I specifically need or not, Suffertown and so on. But do keep your eyes out there. If you can pick them up for $1 a piece or less, you're doing well on those. This I thought was pretty neat over here, To the Land of the Midnight Sun. And this is a, you gotta be careful, it's coming apart, from 1927. It's all about ships for the Stockholm, whatever it says there in the back. It's ships trying to get you to travel on their thing there with great graphics on the front over there. So again, I paid a couple of bucks for it. Definitely can make my money off of that. And the last thing, and this is a tip out there to dealers. This gentleman had his stuff up, all the stuff there on the table, absolutely nothing priced. And all over the place, he had these little quotes from Bob Hope, and it was something like, negotiation is king, or something like that. You give me a price, and I'll probably counter, but we'll make a deal, or something like that. And I'm like, a lot of people don't want to come up with the first price. I certainly don't. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll be looking around the table and seeing prices of things that I know what they're worth, and if I see them priced too high, 4 or 5 things priced too high, I basically stop looking and move on, because I've got to, be able to buy things cheap enough to be able to make a profit on it. So that kind of scared me. I was done shopping, and finally I just said, something, I'm going to see what the guy wants on these. He had some original art, and I said, how much are they? And he goes, $5. I said, what if I take them all? He goes, well, that would be 20. This is one of those things that I've been talking to you guys for years about how it takes a few years to get into the new niche. This is something that years ago I wouldn't have bought until I started buying stuff on Heritage. And these are all really neat. I mean, look at that car right over there. That's an awesome car. These are all pieces of original art. I'm sure they were all published somewhere, obviously. I got to do some research on them. But I paid $20 for all of them. Vending machine paints, that's 3, 4, 5, I don't know, about 10 pieces. So I paid a couple of bucks a piece on these over here. There are a little bit of notes there that I can sit there. Evening Gazette. So these would have been published in the local newspaper on there as well. So pretty neat little items right over here, all original art. This is the one that I wish it weren't like this, but there isn't anything I can do about it. This is obviously Rural Delivery, original comic art. And unfortunately, they cut it in half. However, I can still end up selling it because it's one of a kind. And that's the beauty about it. Obviously, it would be a lot better if it were together. Nothing I can do about it. It's the way that it is. But somebody will want to buy it because, again, it's a piece of original art from 1956, which kind of probably dates the rest of the collection as well. So that was an opportunity I had where I asked how much the price was and ended up getting the price on it as well. So you couldn't go wrong with all this original art for $20 total. These things over here I'll be listing at 40, 50 bucks a piece on eBay, and they will sell. They won't fly off the shelves, but they will sell because they are all one of a kind. So hopefully that helps you a little bit, some of the things that you can find out there. Like I said, overall, I'll probably be lucky to break even, but it was my first time down here. Now I've got the lay of the land, so I'll definitely be coming down next year. Had a fun little trip down, fun little time there meeting a bunch of different dealers that were completely different dealers. It was a lot of the people out of the Buffalo area, which I really don't deal with. So I was talking, chatting people up and everything like that. And next year when I come down, chat them up even more, give them my business card, and maybe be able to make some deals out of the shows as well. So hopefully that helps you some. If you can hit the like button, we'd definitely appreciate it. And we will see you next video.